All right, hello everybody. All right, now we're gonna move on to a Q&A segment. And to get started, I'd like to welcome up all our filmmakers whose movies you just watched. So can I please welcome to the stage, or it's a theater, I guess. Welcome to this, Christopher King, Kai Lucky, Andrew Wolf, Edward Carluzzo, Noah Isaac Fields, Catherine M.J. Quinn, and Ryan Manu.
Yeah! Woo!
All right, guys, great work. Everyone loved it, right? It was a great time? Okay, so first off, I just want you guys to introduce yourselves, say your age and what movie you made.
All right. I'm Christopher King. I'm 22 years old. My short film was Uno, the first one you saw. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kai Lucky. I am 21 years old, and my film was Interviewing John Ford, which was the second one you saw.
My name is Noah Fields. I'm also 21 years old, and I made The Imaginary Rules of Engagement.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Manu. I'm 22 years old, and I did a book about science, which was the last film you saw.
I'm Andrew Wolf, and I'm 23 years old, and I made Hollow Village.
My name is Catherine Quinn. I'm 23 years old, and I made Something Lighter, the quiet one.
All right, great. So I'm going to start with Christopher right here. Uno, we all loved it. Everyone on the board loved it. We loved the energy. We loved how playfulness. It was a great time. It was just real sense of fun. And in your personal statement on the film Freeway, you said that you are a strong believer in creating something with real craftsmanship that is also a good that's also a good time.
Yeah.
And I think you really succeeded in that goal. And I just kind of wanted you to speak to that ethos.
Yeah, so we shot this over a spring break, and I didn't want them to waste their spring break shooting my short. So my number one goal was to have fun. I wanted to make a fun environment, make something fun, because I was like, they're gonna hate me. But yeah, I'm glad it came across in the actual final product, because there might have been moments where we weren't having fun, but I think overall we had a good time doing it.
We didn't see that part. That's fine. Did it good.
But yeah, I love, sometimes people are just too pretentious, but you can have fun, and it can also be good. You don't have to be a stickler for tiny little things, You can have a good time making movies. That's pretty much it.
All right, thank you. Okay, Kai. Really, really bold, interesting, just such a unique and vision, and the aesthetic. I love the performances. They were all just so energetic and strong. And I just kind of wanted you to speak to where this idea came from, because I know there's all these things in the film about confronting your heroes and confronting filmmaking and people who hold directors as these almost larger than life figures, when in reality they're just people who make movies. And I kind of wanted you to just speak to where this idea came from. I also saw that it said adapted for the screen on the screenplay, so did this start as a short story, or?
So it actually started as a one-act play that I wrote in my final semester at Suffolk, and I invited this guy right here to come see it. And he came up to me afterwards and was like, "Hey, let's make it a movie." And then he ruined my summer. And the months since, it's all been work. But no, yeah, it was originally a one-act play. I wrote it for a college class. It was inspired by that interview clip that you see at the beginning, because I saw it and I thought it was really funny. I love how he shoots down every single question, and it builds up this figure of him, he doesn't care at all about the pomp and circumstance. He would not walk up here and accept the mic. So much.
No, exactly. You're already a better interviewer than interviewer.
But I respect that a lot. I think it's easy in this medium to be like, oh, I want to be famous. Like, it'll be a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, like, the work is the most important thing. If you look at any great piece, it is the director is primarily focused on the work, not on what accolades they'll receive from it. And I think directors like Tarantino, who's like, you know, makes a lot of good films, his movies ultimately suffer from the fact that he's saying like, I'm gonna make 10 and then never make one again. Like, he's a symptom of creating like himself as like an entertaining figure who's like 10 movies, that's it. Like, he's turning his life into performance.
It's all just about legacy and not about
and I think that's dumb. I think you should just make movies and it's fun and die broke, you know?
Fuck yeah. All right. Andrew, Hollow Village. Incredible, just such a labor of love, like so much effort went into this. It's kind of unbelievable you don't see a lot of 2D animation anymore. So to see it on an independent level is just like really exciting. We were so excited to screen this because it was just, I mean, it's just not something that you encounter a lot in 2024. So I kind of just wanted to ask you about like, what was that like as an undertaking, kind of understanding that you're doing something that's from a different era, it's a throwback, but it's also clearly very personal and something you're very passionate about.
Alright, I just wanted to make it. I just always liked Rubber Hose cartoons. Like, you know, not just like, you know, Mickey Mouse, also like the Fleischer Studios, who are known for like Betty Boop, who did like, you know, like all these like crazy, like they're a lot crazier. So I was inspired by that. But I also want to kind of have like my own take, so I had, you know, not just black and white, you know, have like a edge of a red, you know, just black, white, and red. And as I was making it, I was like, you know, I'm tired of seeing black, white, and red. How about I put a bit of green there for one scene, and maybe a bit of blue, you know, the dance part. But yeah, I was just, you know, it's not just that. I'm just inspired by animation in general, just because I love. I've been doing it since for like over 5 years now, like on my own. So, you know, doing all these projects and stuff. So.
Absolutely, that was incredible.
Thank you.
Of course. Edward Excelsior, is he? He is not here. Okay, never mind. Then we have Noah, Imaginary Rules of Engagement. Such a fun, just like love letter's a little bit of an overused term, I think, but to like playfulness and just childhood and all that. And I really loved how you incorporated sort of, well, I guess it's the title, the Imaginary Rules of Engagement into the screenplay, where it would be like, oh, I just don't want to play with this one anymore, and then the actors would change, or it would be like the force field, like that makes the sword not work, or all those little details, I think really just made that movie so special, because it really did feel like it was something from the mind of a child, but like you obviously are writing it from this perspective of like this distance, but the fact that you were able to get back there as a writer, I thought was really impressive. And I just kind of wanted you to speak to that, the idea of where it came from and like what it was like to sort of get back into that space and just have fun, because it seemed like such a fun time to me.
Of course. This idea came from a conversation with my actor, Sebastian back there.
Shout out Sebastian.
Yeah, shout out Sebastian. We were just talking about like what we like to do growing up, playing with toys and whatnot. And it kind of brought me back to a place of when I was younger. I moved around a bunch, and I think a way I connected with people in these new environments was through play, the importance of play. One of the fondest memories I have as a kid was going to a park, and this random kid brought a ton of Nerf guns to the park, and all these different kids played all day with these Nerf guns, and after that, I never saw these people ever again. And I think it shows the importance of play, the importance of using your imagination in a sense where you can go back, meet people, and bond in this one activity, which is fun. And then I think putting that into filmmaking, where this is an environment where I can do this with my friends, I can make mistakes, I can play with the medium of filmmaking and make something that brings me back to a place that I've always missed and loved. And we shot Iroh probably over a year ago now, and with reshoots, but like the first shots, a year, Kai's laughing right now, but it's been a process, but a year ago, and I hated it in the moment. I was so petrified of being known as a filmmaker, having this undertaking of all these people looking at me, and now I look back and I think of the fun and play we had using our imagination in the woods with the shots. And
It really shines on screen. Like
Yeah.
like you could tell the whole time. You're like, even if you were stressed, even if you had some doubts, like the whole time it feels like, wow, I'm watching people have fun making a movie.
yeah, thank you. It's like a lot of shots, and one improvised one the night when he's getting punched in the face. That came from pure coincidence, where we were like, all right, I want a shot of his feet as we walk forward, and they did it and stabbed the sword down. We're like, whoa, this looks really, really cool. And we kept it. Like, we had fun with the shot list. People brought their ideas. This is a collaborative event with friends. Beyond all that, Sin 114, our production company, is a group of friends trying to make movies, trying to make it. So I guess the biggest undertaking of all the whole spiel I said is have fun with your friends when you make movies.
Let's go. I love that. That's what this whole event's about. Okay, Catherine, something later.
No.
Yeah. So first off, just such a incredible, like, experimental, very like raw sort of. It's a really raw. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you. A really like raw emotional screenplay, and obviously the choice to make it a silent film is a really bold, vulnerable one, and I think it really pays off for the film. And I was just wondering, was it always conceived as a silent film? And also, because it's just such a, if you were to give actors those words to say, I think they would make a meal out of them. They're really, really great. And just sort of, what was it like directing just based on body language and characters and not having to give line reads or anything?
That's a really fabulous question. Oh my gosh. First I want to say thank you for having me. This is like such an honor to be up here with like such incredible filmmakers. Like, I'm in great company. But circling back to your question, it actually started, it was a conversation between me and my good friend Greta, who's also a filmmaker. And we were like, what if we made a film and it's like two people and they're having like this like passionate fight, but like the man is always out of focus and the woman is always in focus, but like when he speaks, he's like always like muffled, but she's always clear. And like we experimented with all these like ways of like manipulating the form to like tell the story. But I finally settled on it being silent because I wanted to like evoke a very intimate feeling. And I wanted to create like a phenomenological experience for the viewer where they're like tuned in to like every little sound, because I think when you know someone very well, it's like the sound of their footsteps, when it's just a little bit off, like you can feel the tension in the room. And I think with directing the actors, it was just very fun. Like I was like, I'm very like physical when I direct, so I was like kneeling on the floor right next to them and I was like whispering to them and I was like, so this time your line is like, I hate you, or whatever the script was. And like, they would do it and I would like, kind of be like, changing the wording of how I was like saying it, like, I hate you, but I love you, kind of giving them different directions. Yeah.
No,
That was my
it was
style.
such, I think, a really successful experiment in doing that, because like, yeah, it gave it such a unique thing and really great work.
Thank you.
Of course. Ryan, book about science. It's just such a great like melding of tones and the whole runner about how the whole like no feelings final, and I think that just reflects in like the tone of the movie and how it moves from being like a traditional rom-com to being a little bit of like a comedy, and then moving into more dramatic stuff, and then also just the whole time maintaining this whole heart throughout that I thought really made the movie special. And I just wanted, also I really enjoyed the structure of doing the different hormones to kind of relate all back to these tonal choices, and I just really wanted to know what your what it was like kind of making those decisions and where the screenplay came from.
Yeah, first off, I do want to say thank you for having me on this panel, as well as my head producer and my head everything else, gaffing, sound. This is their film as much as it is mine, so I want to share that with them, even though I'm the one up here. But yeah, a book about science was something I wrote in my sophomore year of college, where I think, you know, at this time and age, everyone's going through every feeling, every emotion. Like we mentioned in the film, no feeling is final, and you see kind of this sporadic and, you know, roller coaster of emotions throughout your life, in any age really. And the screenplay was written definitely as a therapeutic outlet to, like, you know, explore with those emotions that you're going through. And I would say, well, the first draft of this screenplay was actually almost 50 pages, which rule of thumb would almost be an hour. So trimming the fat was definitely a great process, and just getting it down to around 20 to 25 pages, and really centralizing the story about how quickly these emotions do fluctuate, how fast your moods can swing. So it was definitely trying to incorporate the poetry aspect of science versus poetry and telling the same story, relating to it all just being because we're human.
Oh, that's great. All right, I'm going to open the floor to questions from the audience. If you want to just raise your hand, we have Scarlett running around giving out mics. And yeah, we want to hear from you guys. Ask away.
Hi, my question's for Nicholas, right? Is that you?
Me? I'm
Yeah.
Ryan.
Ryan? Oh,
Ryan,
I'm so
yes.
sorry. What's
No, you're good.
You're Nicholas.
No, I'm Andrew.
Who's Nicholas?
Was anyone Nicholas?
I don't think there's a Nicholas on the
Not a
staff.
single Nicholas.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Your
We call
production
me
company,
Nicholas.
what's the name of it again?
Me or
You.
Nicholas?
You.
Or
Yes, you. I'm so sorry.
No, you're
I'm
good,
sorry.
Ryan. No, are you talking about a book about science?
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So our placeholder production company was Com 449, which was just named after our class in Penn State, where I met these guys, and that's how we, you know, put it together.
Yeah, what's the deal with that, buddy?
I
Because
was-
we're Sin 114.
I was-
And we met in a college class.
that?
So what's going
There
on
it
here?
is.
He
You know,
just totally derailed my question. Thank you, Kai. Kai, Chris, Noah, Shane, and I started Sin 114. So when we saw your name come up, we were like, oh my God, we're not creative. Like, you guys did the same thing
Oh,
we
that's
did.
the universe bringing you guys
Oh.
together. That's not a lot of
So
creativity.
we definitely want to collab with you. Because that's like
Yeah.
Collaborators,
crazy.
step outside, you know.
We
everyone-
wanted this festival for moments like this. Collaboration.
So yeah,
Let's
sorry I
go.
didn't get your name right, but
No, you're
that
totally
was my
good.
question. That was all.
But yeah, no, I wish there was more of a creative decision behind our choosing of that. However,
Just roast
that's not
us.
throwing shade at all, because now that you pointed out, I think that, you know, it's something that we should stick to. And maybe what was your numbers? Sin 114, Com 449 can be the future.
Collab.
So yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah,
And are you? I'm gonna jump in. Are you guys all from like the same program, same college? This class?
We both go to Hofstra, me and Noah. Kai goes to Stony Brook, but we all met in Suffolk, the Selden campus, yeah.
Next question.
So for Kai, for the interview with John Ford, was just the beginning part the entire interview, and the rest of it was just like your work, or was it just like word for word from like an actual interview with him?
So the 1 minute clip that plays, that's the interview. And then everything else is written. You know, it's meant to, like, those first 10 minutes are meant to simulate like Jimmy Fallon. And you know, those, I don't like those shows. They feel like heartless to me and soulless. And you know, Jimmy Fallon is like Chris here. His eyes are dead. And so, you know, I wrote all of that following that little 1 minute clip.
All right, that's my question. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
So, Noah, for the rules of engagement, I mean, you went through how the genesis, you know, at the core of it started, but in terms of the execution, it just sort of, I loved it, and it was sort of like a live action graphic Toy Story, you know what I mean? Was that ever in your head at all, or was it just blank slate, like, just, I don't know?
So Iro went through it's a very developing film as it was getting made. I had an idea in mind, the script was made, and you know, with filmmaking you come into roadblocks. Roadblocks that could also be blessings. The child actors we used, some of the, love them so much. One thing I didn't realize, they didn't know how to read. Like, neither of them knew how to read, and that was the first problem. So sending them a script, could not read it. So the entire film, fun fact, is ADR. Everything was done in post, especially for the kids. They're talking. Because since they didn't know how to read, I would have to talk to them through the lines. So, you're not my friend anymore. Okay, say it into the mic. You're not my friend anymore. I tried to have them read it at first, but it ended up sounding, you are not. So it's a film that like kept developing as we were making it. The first iteration of the soldier night fight, I felt so overwhelmed. This was my first filmmaking endeavor. Felt so terrified making it. I ended up reshooting it with a new open mindset in mind. And it turned out to be some of my favorite segments, recording with my DP Kai, assistant camera, Chris, and some of these, yeah, Shane AD back there. Just working with all of them in the woods, no permits, was such a fun time. One of the craziest set things that happened on the last day of filming in the woods, we were always joking like, oh, what if someone like shuts us down? That would suck. That would really suck if we got shut down. We see a forest ranger walking towards us deep into the woods, staring me dead in the eyes. I'm trying to ignore him while I'm like directing like what I think is the last part of the film. Like, yep, this is it. I'm about to get fined $600 and no more filmmaking after that. And he goes up to us and he's like, whoa, you guys, what are you doing out here? This looks so fun. And we were talking for a while. I'm shaking in my boots, and he ended up being like a really nice guy. And I think that goes with the idea, the premise of Iro, just having fun making a movie. Like, I didn't believe I was a filmmaker before making this. I thought I was just a guy who had ideas. And meeting people, making that community, that circle of people who actually believe in your crazy ideas is something that all of us as filmmakers need to find that little circle. And we can be each other's circle after this. But becoming a community of young creatives to make something better in the industry.
My question's for Noah. That every shot in the woods looked amazing. And I was just curious, how long did it take to set up with camera or whatever? Because, like, especially the lighting, I was very impressed.
So I'm gonna invite Kai in this little back and forth of how we shot the scenes in the woods. So the first few of them, let's say when Sebi is sitting down, lying down by the tree, there are like daddy long legs like crawling all around his head if you look very closely in the shots. But coming up with working in the woods is one thing. Bringing everyone to the middle of the woods in the middle of summer, having people dressed in all black like our ninja outfits. I felt bad, like directing in the back of my mind, like I'm gonna give someone like heat stroke. Like it does not look good. We have like a tiny generator. I have my little cooler of like stuff. So that's the producer mind in me is thinking like all of this going in my head. Also the no permit thing, but all of that working in the woods, coming up with shots. Kai, do you have any like favorite shot that you can think of that really was like an undertaking to do?
Not an undertaking, but actually the maybe easiest shot in the entire thing is my favorite one, which is when the camera, we pan from the tree, and then it reveals Sebi's character, the soldier, running. I love that shot, and it totally came out of the moment. You know, you said the lighting's great. That's the sun, maybe. That's, you know, our big ball of gas up there, because it took care of most of the work. We used some lights on the reshoots, but honestly, they didn't do anything. So it was a really lucky location that we found, and the sun, it shone through the trees so well, creating those nice shadows. And so I gotta say that I can't really take credit for that. Most of that's attributed to nature, and the colorist that worked on it, Raquel, is very, very talented.
Yes.
And she pulled a lot of beautiful colors out of that.
I will, round of applause for Raquel. She's currently in Portugal right now. She's a foreign exchange student I met at Hofstra, who I met her in a little interview I was doing with her. And she's like, yeah, I could color your film. And I'm like, awesome. And she toiled day and night with colors. I've always wanted to go back and do another pass of IR on 4K and technical jargon. But whenever I open up the project file, the entire thing is in Portuguese. So I think that's just a barrier I'm never gonna pass. I don't want to touch the labor of love Raquel gave. And I also want to give a huge shout out to my entire crew and cast who worked on this for months, working in the woods, working
Unpaid.
You're fed in food. Food and my entire heart of gratitude. But working in the woods is very hard. Just make sure to bring bug spray and don't get ticks or get stung by bees. Kai. Yeah, Kai got stung by a bee.
All right, another question.
I don't think I need a microphone, but you guys are all so young. I have children your age. How do you get involved in this?
Yeah,
Is this something you guys have obviously you all have a passion for what you do, but how do you then have the mindset to create this and then bring it forward to make this?
Yeah, if you guys all want to kind of answer this question, I feel like it's important. Yeah. You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, how did I start it? How did I get into it?
Did you go to school for this specifically, and then on your free time you create these movies and then bring them forward to a film festival like this? Or just a side gig?
Yeah. I went to Binghamton University, and sort of on a whim, I took a film class because I heard the professor was great, and I just really loved her, and she loved me, and we just had a little mentor-mentee kind of relationship, and I eventually became her TA, and I always loved making things for her to show her and impress her, and for my friends. And I just had a bunch of friends that wanted to act in films, that wanted to help on films. So it was just something we would do on weekends because we all loved it. And we made it for each other. And then I was like, why not throw my hat in the ring? Long Island Youth Film Festival, let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I've always loved animating. I always loved to make cartoons ever since I was a little kid, or even younger, a toddler. I was always into it, and then so obviously, as I got older, I was like, okay, I want to figure out how to do this so I could, do it for myself, and I realized it was a lot harder than I thought. So, after I've been doing it for as I said before, 5 years now, and but I never submit my work to anywhere, and then my mom and dad, they started submitting hollow village behind my back to film festivals, and I didn't know, and then I got accepted into this one, and I was like, oh, okay. A couple weeks before I knew it, and sorry, I'm trying to figure out my train of thought here, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm a huge perfectionist. I would spend I spent 6 months on it, but I worked 8 to 10 hours a day on it, just in my room, just drawing and getting stuff, trying to draw and do stuff with it, get stuff done. That's what I'm trying to say.
You drew that and then transferred your drawings to a computer image?
Well, so I drew it digitally, I drew it on a tablet, and I exported it into Premiere Pro, and that's where I edited it, and I added the sound effects and stuff. So, Thank you. Why am I clapping for myself? I'm gonna
Clap
go
for
media.
yourself. Self-love.
I think that pertaining to how do you get involved, I mean, we all have better cameras than what they were shooting movies with back in the starting days of Hollywood in our pockets right now. So I think that like the resources are available for young filmmakers to go out. There's like, I forget the name of the movie, but there's a movie coming out next year. It's gonna be the first feature hitting theatrical release that was shot on like an iPhone 15, which is, you know, it's super interesting. The difference is now with the advancement of technology is since everyone has access, the competition is fierce. The competition is more competitive than ever. So what's going to set you aside from the other filmmakers is going out and doing it. I think that when it comes to all of us up here, there's so many obstacles in the pre-production process that shuts down your production. So you say goodbye to a project before it even begins. And I think what sets you apart is, getting over those hurdles and actually doing it. On a more personal level, why I got involved was just because I loved stories, I love storytelling. I grew up kind of in the entertainment industry, working in, professional like hip-hop dancing, and then also just like acting, minor roles and acting jobs, and and I kind of found a love for the other side of the camera, going on to the telling stories part rather than acting out for someone else's vision. But I think at the end of the day, it's really just going out and taking what you have with whatever little budget you have and just making it happen. It's an outlet for more creativity.
Yeah, getting started. I've always loved like drawing pictures as a kid. Not as good as Andrew. Like again, like I loved it so much. It was so cool seeing that. And it was just like I always wanted to draw, be creative. But then that side of me, that self-doubt came in, and I was like, no, you can't make a career making movies. Like you need to get a job. You need to be a realist. So after I graduated Suffolk County Community College, I was gonna become a business economics major. Yeah. And I ended up working with Kai on interviewing John Ford over that summer, started IRO, and then went into Hofstra my junior year, starting off as a business economics major. And if anyone has seen Harry Potter, first class in, it felt like the Dementors were pulling me, my life getting drained away in that business economics class. And I switched into television production, and I ended up finding, again, that community, that group of people to keep pushing me to make my creative ideas. And I think how you get started is just removing that self-doubt for even a moment and just going to do something that you had an idea for. Like, I've worked with Sebi for years now, like one of my best friends from high school. And we used to work on a lot of projects, and a lot of them fell through. We stopped working on them because we just didn't think it was good enough. And IRO was one of the first projects I would say in my life that actually finished through, and it turned into something. And I would just say, like, if you want to get a start in it, just pick up something and finish it. That's really all you can do, is just finish what you make.
I'm not really like good at anything else. This is it, man. My dad put a camera in my hands when I was 4 years old because, I don't know, I guess he wanted me to be poor. And he took me on a day of shooting as a professional photographer, and there was no film in the camera when we came home and tried to develop it. And so from then on, I just want to finish things and have a final product. And I think, to echo what Noah saying, that is the most important thing that you can do, because you may hate it, you may think this is a poor piece, I could do this better if I did it again, all of these things, but you should still put it out in the world, because nothing will happen if you don't. And I think to answer the original question of how'd you get started, I just enjoyed it. I was a lonely kid, and I had a camera, and it was fun, and it took up the time, and now I can't get rid of that hunger.
kind of just echo what everyone else said. But yeah, well, pretty much summed it up. I kind of got started just making stupid little videos on YouTube with my friends, and that was just, you know, I had fun doing it, I enjoyed it, and I was like, I should continue doing this. Why not? And then it really just depends. You got to surround yourself with people you know you can work well with, and collaborate with, and trust, and you know, that can help you bring to life what you want to make, which is, it's great, because I was always doing things by myself, and that kind of sucked. And you know, getting, you know, because my friends aren't actors, they don't really care about movies, so I'd be like, guys, do this, and they'd be like, no, screw you, I want to go play FIFA or something. But then, yeah, just get out there, go to, you know, I almost say go to film school, it's expensive, but, you know, just expose yourself to communities that promote filmmaking, like something like this, you know, submit to something, meet someone, and just form relationships, and that's pretty much it.
All right. So, speaking of forming filmmaking communities, that's really what we want to do with this whole event. So I just wanted to say, do any of you guys have any questions for each other?
Where's Nicholas? Where's Nicholas?
Yeah, where's Nicholas?
I'm so sorry.
I got one. Sorry, Noah. Andrew.
What's up?
Would you ever make something live action, or are you strictly just a lover of animation?
Okay, I did one live action, but it was for a project, and it's terrible. So, but you know, I've always done animation, but I would. So like recently, I did like a rotoscope, which is tracing live action. It's not for like a film. Yeah, but it's not for like a film, but it was just like a little like animated GIF. And I did that, but then also like a year ago, I did like a little like 10-second short, and it had me in it, like as like a creepy character. So it's like, you know, it's like the character, like the cartoon character interacting with like live action freak, which is me. So I mean, I wanted to do like full live action. Like I would do if I would incorporate live action, but not like, you know, I wouldn't do like a live action film personally. But obviously, I respect what you guys do. It's awesome. So that's my answer.
Awesome, thank you, man. I was just really impressed by like the amount of work animation takes, and the fact that you made something that long. Like, it's so hard. I would do it if it wasn't so hard. Like, you have way more patience than I do. I'm very lazy, and so I'm very impressed with that.
I'm lucky to have fun with it. That's the thing.
And it turned out looking like a team of 30 underworld people from overseas made it. It turned out so well.
Seriously?
So please, everyone, a hand for
No,
Andrew.
absolutely. Give it up for Andrew. My first thought when seeing that was, how many people made this? And then I looked at the credits, and it was one guy.
One guy. Okay, can I just say one thing though? And I never told like my friends here this, and it's something I kind of regret is that I wish Connor over here. I wish he was the narrator. That's something I regret.
Shout out Connor!
Now the next movie.
Next one.
Maybe you know what? Yeah, you know what? I have an idea for the next one. I thought of like a project yesterday. It is, you know, and the characters talking it, like that one where it's kind of like they do like laughs and stuff. Yeah. But for the next one, I want to do like I want the characters to actually talk. So maybe this guy and maybe these two over there. Maybe they could get involved.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll pay them.
All right.
Breaking news.
Yeah, it's a.
Can't review it in public. The new casting of you short.
Yeah, I have a question. I feel like. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just jump you?
No.
Okay. Sorry. It's really open for any of you guys, but kind of going back to your inspiration boards, like what film would you say, or just filmmaker really inspired your work that we saw today?
I'm gonna do a curveball and say I was raised by TV. Like, I loved television so much. Like, when I moved around as a kid, like that was the one medium I always had. And I would say Genndy Tartakovsky, who made like Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, Primal. Like, seeing that the animated violence, the risks he took with the animated medium, like that is something like I want to emulate in my live action work. Like, I wanted to be an animator, but I suck at drawing. So live action is the best thing I can do, and I look back to animators, anime, as like kind of my inspiration for like what I want to make in this world.
Great inspiration, man. Yeah, fantastic inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm not really inspired by like other films, but I'm definitely inspired by like art. Like my dad's in the art industry, so I grew up around it. So I just had like this like Rolodex of things to just pull from, and that film was very much inspired by like Andrew Wyeth and like his work. But I feel like I like find inspiration in like strange places. It's never like a movie. It's always like an interaction I'm watching on the street, or like fashion, or like photography. Photography is a big one. I feel like I see a still image online and I'm like, I'm gonna make a story about that. But I feel like it's more fun for me to pull from somewhere like that's not already a story itself.
Any other questions? If that's all you guys have to say for each other, then
It's for the inspiration.
yeah, for inspiration. Okay, if you want to go for inspiration, absolutely.
Sorry. So my inspiration is Richard Williams, who is he's best well known for doing Roger Rabbit, if you know what that is, but, you know, the live action version for animation. Like I mentioned, you know, before. He did an animation that took him over 30 years and it's still not done. It's called The Thief and the Cobbler, and he like, you know, obviously he did like other work too. Like he did commercials to like fund for the project. But if you look at the movie, which is like free on YouTube if you're interested to like see it, like it has, you know, it looks crazy amazing. Like it's like some of the most like impressive thing ever. Like it's like, dare I say, beyond Disney level. Like you have to see it to like, you know, it's amazing. But like he never finished it. So I was inspired by that. But then that also kind of like, as a result, like it made me go into like a rabbit hole to like try to find all these like weird, obscure, you know, and like, you know, films, games, like anything that looked weird. I was into it. And just like go like, you know, like check, like, you know, like see long plays of like weird video games on YouTube, or, you know, like even play them sometimes, like if I'm really interested in it, or and also the same thing with like films and stuff. So it's just a matter of, like, you have to like, if you're into something, you have to like obsess over it, and you have to like, go into those where you have to go into where no one goes into it, and see all these like inspirations of like all these like weird obscure stuff, because you can obviously be into like, you know, the popular stuff, like they, you know, it's popular for a reason, like it got all, you know, traction, but there are some really cool like indie filmmakers out there, animations filmmakers, like all that, and you have to like find them and like dig them up from the floor or from the ground. So yeah, that's something I hold very dear to, and, you know, every day, or not every day, but like when I get the chance to, I try to see if I could find some weird stuff out there and suck it all in. Sorry.
No, you guys are all pulling inspirations from everywhere. It's really fun.
You know, I would say that my main inspiration isn't actually movies. I've actually, in the past few months, started to kind of hate movies, but it's mainly books, reading, literature. Once again, shout out to Big Papa, my dad, for introducing me to reading a ton of books. Like, he has a shelf. He's a psycho. He has a shelf in his study. Yeah, he has a study. And it is just covered in every type of book you can imagine. And he always encouraged me to read. I was homeschooled. I never went to school. And my entire education was reading, and that was the main inspiration for any type of story. Because if you read like 10 books, you kind of know what a story is. And then if you know, read a couple hundred more, it becomes really, really natural.
All right. So we do have to get ready for the second block of filmmaking. Screening. Can't speak. Okay, bad for a Q&A host. Okay. So all you guys, thank you so much. Give them one last round of applause, everybody. All their films are great. And yeah. So you can take a walk, stretch your legs, and we're going to be back in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes with our second block. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah.